Hello everyone, welcome to round 10 of F1 Mallorca's DTM Championship. This time we are coming from the streets of Singapore, and it is a night race for the season. It's going to be a very long and tedious one. I am Matt, and James will of course be joining me in the commentary box.
G'day.
So Singapore, not really the sort of track we'd expect to see these cars on.
But the benefit of the sim racing world is that we have the opportunity to race any car at any track we want, and that's what these boys over here in Spain are doing, the DTM Mallorca.
Just waiting for practice to end at the minute. Looks like we've got around 2-minute laps, so it shouldn't be too bad, but still gonna be quite a long race, I think.
Yes, indeed, it is going to be quite a long race here. If they're running at about 50% of race distance and they're running at about 2-minute laps, we're looking at about an hour-long race, I believe.
Singapore, a very different challenge to what we had last time out in Bonza 2 weeks ago as well. That's completely flat out most of the way, and this is very tight and twisty.
Two tracks couldn't be more opposite from each other. Okay, so having a look at the race session, we will be having a 31 lap race around the Singapore street circuit here.
And we are just moving on to qualifying as well. Cars making their way to the end of the pit lane.
Checker will be first out there when the lights go green. Followed by Porter, Serrano. And the session's gone green and qualifying is underway.
Only 5 minutes for qualifying, of course, so going to be crucial to get that one lap in, because you're not going to get much more than that. Might get 2 at a push.
And this is going to be one of the most challenging qualifyings of the year because you're going to need a push, but as soon as you make a mistake, there's going to be a wall just there to collect you.
So, around 6 cars already out on track. In fact, I think all 7 are actually on track, all 8 on track now.
Indeed they are. The other difficulty is with such a short qualifying session, they're all going to be scrubbing to find nice, good track position. And that may sacrifice a second lap for you depending on how fast your outlap is.
Wow, that's a really dodgy Singapore sling actually. Serrano will be hoping for a better result than what he had last time out in Monza.
Yes, having a close battle with Fusha, but ended up losing control to Yaskari, and that was quite detrimental to this championship campaign.
Did allow Fusha to extend that championship lead though, as we get into the couple of races we've got left.
One turn to go, and Checo will be starting his first flying lap. And here we go. 2.5 minutes of qualifying remaining, so these boys should be able to get a second lap if they are wise about it.
See what
Oh,
Checker.
had Nieto make a mistake out of the third turn there. That's going to be very, very detrimental to his qualifying position. And now he's going to be holding up Fusha unless he let him through.
Checker just coming to the end of the first sector. Shouldn't be too far off now. Oh, it's a bit.
And Nieto has actually pushed Fusha off. Fusha in the pits.
That could well be Fusha's. Well, yeah, that is Fusha's qualifying session over then.
Fusha fails to set a time. Only just managed to set the first sector time.
Oh, yeah, well. Took the rear wing off of that.
I'm sure there's a few choice words that would be said between those two drivers right now.
Well, both Nieto and Fusha will be starting from the back of the grid. Apparently Fusha didn't actually finish. Oh no, neither of them finished the first sector actually. So I think it may go on car number or something to get who goes where.
Generally, I think it's based off the previous session's performance. So whoever was fastest in practice might be ahead. Nieto is back out on track, however, so he's going to be pushing to try and get across the line before time runs out.
Well, he's only got a minute left to do it, so I don't think he'll make it. Checker just coming around final corner, set his qualifying lap. So we're 2 minutes 3.832. Let's see what everyone else can do.
A little bit off the pace from the practice session there, but it's hard to be precise around this track.
Serrano. Yeah, I was going to say Serrano's already gone and beaten that by half a second.
Gutierrez, however, is 3 seconds off the pace there. Still down in third after that lap though.
Aguilera, he has not set a time yet, has he? No, he hasn't.
It appears not. He may have invalidated that lap somehow.
He managed to get across the
We've got
line.
Herrera across the line next.
Just
And
made
he
that, I
doesn't
think.
set a time either.
I think he just made it onto his flying lap, you know. What? Oh, no, that's over. He's gonna spun it out of turn 3.
Alright, next man we have across the line here is Porto. Coming down the start finish straight now. And we have our 4th position so far with a 2 minutes 11. A mere 8 seconds off the leading pace. Although on a circuit around here, not necessarily how fast you are, as long as you can survive all 31 laps.
Quite a big field spread, actually. And funnily enough, Fuchsia has somehow managed to still be fairly high up grid. According to live time, he's currently 4th, 5th at the minute, actually. So it's not all over.
No, not over indeed. Though we still do have plenty of cars out on track as Jack is about to come around to complete his 2nd lap and hopefully take pole position away from Jordi Serrano. And we start straight now.
No, it's not enough.
He fails to improve his time.
So that will be Serrano on pole then.
So we still have Aguilera coming through the final turn, hopefully just a lap time this time round. Nieto is still out on track as well. Aguilera comes across the line, that's a 2 minute 7, that puts him into 4th. Nieto is coming in fact he's in the 3rd sector now.
Just trying to find him, there we go.
Just found a short way around the track on the outlap.
Whether or not this lap counts, I don't know.
Well, 3 corners till we find out.
Cross the line for Nieto then, and that will be a 2 minutes 9. Question is, does it class him setting a lap time?
It does.
It does, yes.
Yes, indeed. So Nieto are taking out Fuchsia on their first flying lap. Qualifies 5th, 7th. Running down the order from first.
On to the warm-up session we go then. We will have to take a quick break whilst that is on. Hopefully we'll be back in time for the start of the race. Five-minute warm-up session then, and we shall hopefully be back within those 5 minutes.
It appears to be so.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
Okay, with the warm-up session completed, the cars are going to be making their way into the grid now to start the 31 laps of the Singapore F1 Mallorca DTM race here. So just to recap the grid, we have Jordi Serrano on pole position with Daniel Checa in second. Third position went to Raul Gutierrez with Juanma Aguilera in fourth, Ariel Nieto fifth, Otto sixth, Fuchsia seventh, not 7 lap time, and Herrero in eighth. Alright, here we go. Lights out and away. That's a great start from Serrano then. Great jump over the line, getting a fantastic lead. Slightly slow from Gutierrez. Checa also getting a good start down there. We've got Fuchsia already up into fourth. Fantastic start from Fuchsia there. So out of the second turn, and Gutierrez has made a mistake, Fuchsia is going to move up into third after the beginning of this race here. So far, everyone's kept it clean through these first couple of corners. Fuchsia making a mistake into turn 4 then. This is going to give Gutierrez a run on him. Gutierrez is in the wall slightly, but on the inside of the next turn coming up here. No moves have been made. I think everyone's playing a little bit smart right now, knowing this is a very dangerous track and you can easily end your race with one wrong and uncalculated decision. But finishing the first sector of this lap now, our grid, our order in fact is Serrano, Checa, Fuchsia, Gutierrez, Aguilera, Herrero, Nieto, Porto, who appears to have made a mistake down in last. Oh, and we've had Nieto go into the back of Herrero there. Nieto's lost his front bonnet. So he's going to have to deal with that kind of damage around this track now for the moment. As we got Fuchsia right on the back of Checa as they head down into the third sector. Not a lot of passing opportunities down into the sector, so Fuchsia may need to play it patient and just following through and look at see if Checa's going to make a mistake. Serrano almost 3 the lap yet. I'd just like to apologize there because I have lost my connection and have had to log on to mobile, so I am currently unavailable to broadcast this race. So I hope the race is currently enjoyable and wait around for Matt to come back and finish off the commentary.
Alright, hello everybody. Seems we're having technical difficulties, so I'm not sure how much of the race everybody knows about. But Serrano's leading the way from Checa and Fuchsia, then it's Aguilera, Herrero, Porto is 6th, Gutierrez 7th, and Nieto is 8th. All 8 cars are still running.
Yes, I'd just like to reiterate once again that I have had some connection troubles and am no longer able to spectate and commentate on the race. To give you a summary of the events leading up to my issues, we had Nieto running into the back of Herrero and a battle building up between Checa and Fuchsia.
Here's your first lap chaos with these guys then.
It is indeed. And it looks as though I may be able to reconnect now, so I'll try my best.
Fuchsia is chasing down Checa for 2nd at the minute.
Same old.
But Serrano 7 seconds, sorry, advantage over Checa, so he is making amends for Italy so far. Closest battle on track is between these two guys. And the first couple of corners we go. Fuchsia with a 12-second advantage over Aguilera at the minute. going to be a long race for these, and especially when the cars start to filter out as well and there's nobody around.
Indeed, we're only 4 laps in, but the race has already been going quite some time. Only just another 27 laps to go.
This will turn into a mini endurance race inside 1 hour if we don't get too many battles going on throughout the field.
Gutierrez and Porto are also quite close on track right now. Might be another battle to watch out for. And as I say that, Porto has lost it through the Singapore sling, and Gutierrez has made it through up in 6th.
Just watch the replay of that. Did he get across those big sausage curbs? Oh no, wow. Brake far too late by the looks of things. Lost the back end. So that was... who was that going up a position? That was Gutierrez going up into 6th.
Oh, we've had Fusha in the pits. Fusha currently down in 5th, pitting early.
Interesting then, that's only lap 7.
I did notice some debris on the start-finish straight, whether that's unrelated or not. Let's have a look at Fusha entering the pits now.
Oh, and that was Herrero was spinning just in front of him. So Herrero with some sort of trouble down at turn 5, across the curbs, and round he went as he lost ground clearance there. Fusha just come round and almost runs into him. So 8 seconds between Serrano and Checker, and then it's a big gap of 15 back to Aguilera. Fusha is 8 seconds behind Aguilera in 4th. Herrero is now 4 seconds behind Fusha in 5th. Gutierrez is 23 behind Herrero in 6th. Porto is 5 behind Gutierrez in 7th, and Nieto is 12 behind Porto in 8th as Gutierrez, Herrero even, nearly does a front flip through a Singapore sling.
Ooh, that's less than ideal. I have to say that looks like a scheduled stop from Fusha there, so that's the first tactical stop of the race here.
In fact, that wasn't the Singapore sling for Herrero. It was the corners after that, across the sausage curbs.
Leading onto the bridge there. We've just had Serrano in the pits now, so Daniel Checker takes the lead of this race.
So that puts Serrano 12 seconds back then, 13.5 seconds back. Seems they're going for...
Go ahead.
Seems they're going for quite a lot of stops actually, because that would slap 7, 14, 21, 28. Getting on for 4 stops probably.
Well, with such a long lap and possibly quite a short pit lane, you may not lose that much time during the pits.
Serrano lost probably 20 seconds, I think. I think Aguilera and Fusha are actually catching these two now. Serrano even. No, we're certainly quicker through the first sector. Fuchsia is catching Aguilera as well. He's only 2.6 behind now. And I think that could well be just a second or so as he comes through down the inside in the chicane.
Very neat move there, nice, plenty of space given, and Aguilera makes his way into the pits. Just a point of interest, it's a very Audi focused track, as we have the 4 Audis running 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by the 4 BMWs, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I just noticed, I think I was Checker in the pit lane as well, yes it was.
So Fuchsia's got the jump on Checker there during the pit stops.
And Checker is overheating by the looks of things. Hopefully that doesn't turn into something too major. Seems to have sorted itself out now. Aguilera's just rejoined in 4th. Got Herrero 6 seconds back, just going through turn 3 or 2, depends what you want to call it now. In fact, Gutierrez has got ahead of Herrero. Herrero just pitted, I do believe.
Serrano at the moment with an absolutely crushing lead.
8.5 seconds after 9 laps. Not even 9 laps completed. And his best lap is 1.3 quicker than Fuchsia at the minute. So he's...
we had Porto having something to say. He's just been in the wall, coming out of a turn, not sure which one. Looks like just before the Singapore Sling. In fact, Porto's going very slow. He's going to let Herrero through here.
Yes, indeed, Herrero.
Here at the moment.
Didn't think Herrero was going to make it across that chicane there. See if we can find out what happened to Porto. Well, that was very strange. Looked like he carried a bit too much speed in and then just recovered it fairly easily until he got the power on and then hit the wall. He's got Nieto right behind him though. Was that Nieto?
Looked like he let Herrero through before, so we'll have to watch and see this here as he's still all over the place, bumping the walls a little bit.
Nieto already 1 minute 16 seconds behind. Does that look like quite possibly Gutierrez's front end? And it is indeed, because he's just in the pit lane now missing it.
Porto still struggling here. Looks like a move's going to be on for Nieto anytime soon.
Oh, Nieto just lost the car, getting the power back on, and off the front end came. He rejoins then. He's in 6th at the minute, I think.
Nieto is 7th with Porto in 6th.
Oh, Gutierrez is who I was looking for, in 8th.
And Nieto is now in fact up into 6th position, taking Porto down onto the run into the 5th corner, I believe it would be.
Oh, Nieto's making contact with the outside wall. Porto almost following him in. Oh, around goes Porto again.
Going around. Struggling Once again, this is the part of the track last time he was losing control with. And Gutierrez, in fact, who's had to make an emergency pit stop, is now just behind Porto. So, another race in a row that's not going Porto's way at all.
Across the bridge we go. Can he get him into the hairpin? He has a lock on the inside, gets it all locked up. Looked like Porto either got it locked up too much and moved out the way, or just moved out the way in general. But that puts Gutierrez up into 7th then.
I do have a feeling that Porto's got some damage on his car though, because he is running at a much slower and less controlled pace than he was at the beginning of this race.
Porto's last lap was a 2 minutes 22, and Gutierrez was a 2 minutes 20, and he actually pitted that last lap. Porto's just spun it again actually.
Oh, Herrero having a big incident on the start finish straight there, bumping the outside wall, coming across, bumping the inside wall, and taking off his front bumper there. Very, very lucky not to have a major incident from that and to be able to keep going. But Herrero really pushing apparently, or just not paying enough attention.
Didn't seem to faze him too much, he carried on like nothing had happened there. Fusha now 12 seconds behind. Porto really struggling and is just coming into the pit lane actually.
So we've got Serrano gapping Fusha, gapping Checker, and oh, we've had Adrian Herrera retire with the suspension problem.
Could well be related to that slap on the wall he had just a minute or so ago then. Oh yeah, you got it all locked up coming into one of the corners, and looks like he just realised he had to retire the car there.
So we've had Porto come into the pits and he's now been lapped.
Porto is still actually a lap down on Herrero, who's just retired. Fusha still not able to get anywhere near what Serrano is currently running. Serrano was 2 minutes 3 that last lap, I do believe, 2 minutes 3.4ish. Fusha was a 2 minute 4.6 or 7. Porto struggling to kind of get around this circuit at the minute. Very wide out the hairpin there as well after the bridge. Nearest car to him is 45 seconds down the road. Oh, we've got Gutierrez chasing down Nieto actually, just 2 seconds between them.
Yeah, that's the closest battle on track at the moment. Just been starting to observe that. Next closest battle on track would have to be Checker and Fusha. Not sure what the gap is there, but let's see if Gutierrez can make anything out of Nieto's mistake out of that corner there. So he ran a bit wide and then got the power on too early. Gutierrez is going to have the speed down the straight. Looks like he's going to be too far behind to do anything to this next corner, but Gutierrez is definitely catching up to Nieto here, who's run wide here. He's power on too early again. Gutierrez is closing right up in the back of Nieto. Yeah,
Gutierrez caught up a lot down that straight there. And he's going to be... Ooh, yo! Almost making contact there.
These are the kind of cars where you can bounce around a little bit off each other when racing, but not on a track like this as Gutierrez dives down the inside of the Singapore sling. Job done. That was a fantastic pass by Gutierrez there.
Nice and clean, got the job done. Porto...
All credit to Nieto to respecting that move there, because that could have ended up very, very poorly for the two of them going over the bouncy Singapore sling.
Porto was already struggling. It was 2 minutes 35 that last lap. Let's see if Nieto can stay with Gutierrez. Gutierrez does seem the faster of the two at the minute, but he's going very sideways.
After a performance like that, I think Nieto might be able to keep with him.
Oh no, Nieto's gone straight on.
I guess I say that. I dare say commentators curse.
Is Nieto pitting? He is indeed. Although this looks like it could be scheduled, actually it's 7 laps or so since the last stop. See what this time is for Nieto in the pit lane then. Who was it that ran out of fuel 20 metres before the pit box last time out? Was it Nieto?
No, it was Salazar.
Ah yeah, Salazar's not here today. Oh, Nieto very close to that white line there. Don't think that's a punishable offence.
Serrano in the pit lane at the moment because Checo is now into the lead.
He is indeed 31 seconds in the pit lane for Serrano then. I think... no, Fuchsia's not gone through yet actually. Fuchsia's just coming into turn 1.
Ah, so Fuchsia's also made his second stop clearly because he was ahead of Checo as well.
Porto just moving out the way as Fuchsia gets the power down. So the gap between Serrano and Fuchsia down to 7 seconds then.
Yeah, Fuchsia's finding about 5 seconds somewhere there. Matt, are you able to report what the current pit time loss is, just to see where Checo will come out in relation to Fuchsia?
I have no information on that actually. Porto's just spun in the background as well. I know that Serrano had a 31 second pit lane time last time through.
And you're not going to lose too much time speeding up and slowing down because you're coming out of the corner and into the corner. So we could safely say about 32 seconds. What kind of gap do we have to Checo and Fuchsia? I actually don't have any timing information at the moment.
Serrano is 10 behind Checo and Fuchsia is 16. So Aguilera might get ahead of Checo through the starts, but of course Aguilera will have to stop again.
Indeed.
Checo's still not pitting just yet. Going on to complete lap 14 as we move on to the halfway point just about.
Well, we had the first round of stops happening around about lap 6 or 7 the first time round, so 7 times 2, 14. You could expect Checo in this lap.
Checo's running a good pace actually. He was 4 seconds just over quicker than Serrano that last lap, but Serrano's got well over a second on him on his best lap.
It might just be visually, but I think Fuchsia is actually closing their gap on Serrano a little bit here.
He's not too far back, only about... yeah, it's just dipped under 7 seconds now, so he's gaining ever so slowly.
On a track like this, where the laps are so long and the race is so long, ever so slowly is not quite so slowly after all.
I think he's gained probably about half a second or so the last lap or 2. Probably just over the last lap actually. Will Checo be pitting at the end of lap 15 though, that's the question. Or is he trying to build up a gap in the traffic to slot into. He's currently got enough of a margin to get out ahead of Aguilera actually, providing his stop goes well.
His other option would be to see how long he can run and maybe cut down and cut out one pit stop compared to these guys. Run one less.
Well, he's not pitting that lap. Checker, of course, was the winner last time out, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, I believe.
Here is another. Oh no, I think that data is still from the previous lap for Serrano actually. Just wait for Serrano to come across the line as Fuchsia sets the fastest half of 2 minutes 3.217. Where's he found that from?
Oh, and Nieto spun in front of Serrano, and Serrano's main contact with Nieto. This is going to allow Fuchsia to catch up plenty, so long as Nieto doesn't get in the way of Fuchsia. And he doesn't, so now Fuchsia has Serrano in his sights. They are both visible on the same straight here.
Just watching the replay back of that now. Oh, Nieto spun right on the apex there. Serrano with nowhere to go. Yeah, just down to 3 seconds between those two then.
So after 15 laps or so of waiting, let's say 10 to be fair, we have another battle forming up here. Hopefully Fuchsia can keep this pressure on Serrano. Serrano may pick up the pace now that he's had that mistake there and may have been relaxing in this middle stages, knowing he had a comfortable 12-second lead at one point, and that he's still waiting for Checker to pit. I believe Serrano and Fuchsia are catching up on Checker here as well, because Checker seems to have lost a little bit of ground, I think, as well.
Yeah, he has actually. That gap's down to 6.5 now. It was probably about 9 seconds last I checked. So Checker making a mistake at some point in the last lap. Under the grandstand goes Fuchsia. He is starting to drop back from Serrano now actually, gaps up to 4 seconds. And I do believe, yes, Checker has just pitted. Will he have enough of margin over Aguilera?
I was just watching back the replay then, and there was no visible mistake from Checker there, so clearly just off the pace.
Out the pit lane goes Checker. That's a very quick stop, 26 seconds. Plenty of time over Aguilera.
Wrong. Once again, this could be why Serrano lost a lot of time to Fuchsia in the pits there.
Yeah, because Serrano did quite a long stop.
Checker running deep into turn 4. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these cars have refueling in this league. Is that correct?
They have what?
Refueling in the pit stop, or just tyre changes?
Yes, I do believe fuel.
Of course they have fuel, otherwise Salazar would not have run out of it last race.
Yeah. You had a flag out there somewhere, which has just cleared itself. Fuchsia is 5 seconds behind Serrano.
Nieto down at the Singapore Sling. I think he's had a bit of a moment there. I'll check it out for you.
I've just got to it now. You just... Oh wow, that's a bad place for him to actually finish that spin actually.
Yeah, with Checker coming just through there.
And we've got Gutierrez pitting from 5th position.
Looks like Serrano's picked up his pace. Fuchsia's dropping back a little bit now.
Long stop for Gutierrez actually, perhaps some damage to repair for him. Could well lose the place to Nieto, although it's 45 seconds between them, so he'll be out, and he is now. I have to say, TV cameras on this circuit aren't brilliant.
Yes, they're quite questionable some of the times, actually.
So, Fuchsia is not able to break that 5-second gap on Serrano. Been hovering around that for a lap or two now. Let's see what he can do in the final 10 laps or so, probably about 15 laps now. He's lost a good chunk of time in the first sector actually, he's 5.7 behind now. And there's another yellow flag out there which has cleared itself again.
Guess who that one was?
It wouldn't be Porto by any chance, would it?
No, it was Nieto once again, because he caused the last yellow flag. That was down into turn 5, I believe it was.
Yeah, Fuchsia losing a lot of time here. 6.5 is the gap now. So he's had a poor first and second sector this lap. Into the final sector for Fuchsia. And Fuchsia's diving into the pit lane. Has he already made his second stop? Because if he has, then this is a very early one.
That's an interesting point there. In fact, I believe he only just made his... That's a very short pit.
It is indeed. I'm sure he only pitted on lap 13 or so.
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Unless this is to counter some additional pit stop he may have at the end of the race by chucking in more fuel and tyres now, he may be able to push harder towards the end. But otherwise, it's still a very strange strategy from Fuchsia here.
That gives Serrano yet more breathing space then as Checo moves back up into second, 8 seconds ahead of Fuchsia. Aguilera is 4th and 1 minute 5 behind the leader now. Gutierrez a lap down, Nieto is a lap down, and Porto is a lap down, nearly 2 laps down as well I should think. Then of course Herrero is the only retirement so far. Herrero seems to have a decent pace, but he makes quite a few mistakes in the process of doing so, as we saw in Monza in the closing stages.
Yes, very close, very fast in the closing stages of Monza. Good battle developing there.
Have a look what Gutierrez is up to actually. Currently 5th. He's got 72 seconds to the car in front and 20 to the car behind, so very much on his own.
Surely it's more than 22 seconds.
Nieto 22 behind him according to live timing.
Oh, no, sorry. I was looking at the wrong 2 cars there, and they seem to be closer on track, or further on track rather.
I think that's Fuchsia coming up behind Gutierrez now actually. As Serrano is pitting. So this is a very, very short middle stint for these guys. Checo, what do you get it?
We're going to have Checo and Serrano side by side out on the track.
Checo. No, Checo doesn't get the place away from Serrano then. So Serrano with an entire pit stop in hand over Checo at the minute. And there's Fuchsia and Gutierrez in the background there. Fuchsia's I think Fuchsia's actually gained some time through the stops, you know, because he's only 4.6 behind now.
Yeah, Fuchsia is a lot faster in the pits. That's how he gained his time last time, but he's not fast out on track where it counts really. If it was a battle of the pit stops here, Fuchsia would be leading.
We shall see if Fuchsia can clear Checker quickly or not. Although I think...
Bear in mind that Checker was the latest to pit in the second round of pit stop, so Checker may be running one pit stop shorter than these guys. Maybe actual track position.
Kind of interesting to see. I'm very surprised by this short middle stint though. Still 3.9 even for Fuchsia to Serrano. So he's managing to stay with him.
Checker going around again.
Serrano leads Checker from Fuchsia then. There's just 4 seconds between the top 3 at the minute. Checker is yet to make his third stop unless he's running a different strategy to these guys, as Fuchsia's all over the back of him.
To turn one. Fuchsia will get a run down this next straight, I believe, especially with Checker losing the rear a little bit there. Fuchsia losing it on the exit in sympathy. Might get a bit of a slipstream, bit of a run down into turn 5 here. He's closing the gap here. Maybe he's brave on the brakes, pulls alongside. Side by side down into turn 5. Ooh. Checker closing the door a little bit on him there. Good hard racing, seems fair.
No contact between the two. Fuchsia trying to... Well, Fuchsia was actually a bit squeezed up against that wall there actually.
Did the smart thing and backed out, however.
Through the Singapore sling, Fuchsia's got a much better run through there.
Checker must be struggling with old tyres, or just lack of pace.
Through the hairpin. Now Fuchsia should be able to get past him down this straight surely. He's got the slipstream. Moves to the inside. No, not quite close enough.
For him there. I think of somewhere else. There's not really a lot of passing opportunities in this final sector as we've seen before, so you may need to think and play the long game, wait till the next start finish straight, get a move on him down there, unless he pulls alongside here. This isn't really a corner for passing, but he might make an opportunity here. No, he doesn't. Backs out. Alright, so next opportunity down in turn 1. See if Fuchsia makes a move there. If it all lined up. This is where you need to have a good run on him here. He's lost a little bit of ground, but gained a bit through that corner here.
Wow.
So if you can pull alongside.
He might be too far back, but he's going for it anyway. Can he outbrake him?
Brakes.
Oh no! Bit of contact. Does he get the job done on the exit? Yes, he does. So Fuchsia moves up into second then, but can Checker get him back into the next turn? He's got the inside line. Can't do anything with it.
More contact there, maybe. This battle's not over yet.
Here comes Checker again, although I don't think he's got any sort of room at the minute. Fuchsia's very deep in there, so was Checker though. Nobody knows when Checker's going to be pitting next either. This could be a battle for track position rather than position at the minute.
I certainly think it is, in fact, just by judging by all the pit lane performances and when they've all come in. Checker is definitely running a much longer race here than the two leading drivers.
Thing is, if Checker's running a different race, he doesn't want to get caught up in something that's going to slow him down. Still staying with Fuchsia though.
Serrano pulling out more of a gap, but these two guys wobbling behind. Serrano seems to have this race in pocket right now, unless he makes a mistake.
Checker losing ground now as he makes slight contact with the exit wall. Outside wall on the exit. That's a more proper sentence there.
Who needs sentences anyway?
Will Checker pit this time through? He doesn't.
It begs the question, with 22 laps now completed, if Serrano can stay out for a couple more laps, do they each need to make one stop remaining? So that earlier stop from Fuchsia to balance out the pit stops may have seen him only need one stop to finish this race. And as I say this, I'd just like to thank you and inform you that I will now have to leave, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the coverage with Matt.
See ya. So, Serrano still leading the way from Fuchsia then by 7 seconds, and Checker is only 0.5 behind Fuchsia at the minute, but slowly dropping back. Aguilera is still up there in 4th, Gutierrez is 5th, Neto 6th, and Porto is 7th. Ten laps to go. How many pit stops do we have remaining for these guys though? No signs of any pit stops so far. Serrano goes on to complete another lap. Finishes off lap 23, onto lap 24 we go. Fuchsia 7 seconds behind in second, Checker is third. 2 seconds behind Fuchsia now. Not much to choose between them lap time wise. But it's going to be interesting to see where Checker ends up, because he was of course second before the stop started. But it all depends if he's on a different strategy to everybody else. Fuchsia locking the brakes up there ever so slightly, doesn't seem to have caused any issues for him though. Checker's running 3 seconds a lap quicker than Aguilera at the minute. Still no sign of any sort of pit stops from anybody though. See what Serrano does as we come up to the end of the 24th lap here. 7 to go. Once his lap is complete. Under the grandstand. Does Serrano dive into the pit lane? No, he doesn't. So he's gonna be taking on a splash and dash towards the end of the race then, with just 7 to go. What's happening behind Fuchsia is pitting from second position, and Checker's following him in. This could be the last stop for these two guys then. Fuchsia already away. Checker was 2 or 3 seconds behind. He's a lot more than 2 or 3 seconds behind now though, as he's lost about 5 or 6 seconds to Fuchsia in that stop. Total of 30 seconds in the pit lane. So we should be seeing Serrano pitting next, unless of course Serrano has managed to switch up his fuel strategy to a 1 stop less than those guys. Only 4 cars left on the lead lap now, which is Serrano of course, and then Fuchsia, Checker and Aguilera down in 4th. Aguilera is 50 seconds behind the 3rd place car of Checker. And into the pits comes Serrano then, so this will be his final stop of the race. Fuchsia just coming around the final corner, just 4.6 between them now. So we close that gap up yet again under the pit stops, but it's going to be down to pure race pace now as we have got all the stops out of the way. In fact, that gap between Serrano and Fuchsia is down to just 3 seconds now. So we could well have a last 5 lap or so battle between these two for first. It's not over just yet. Checker is 14 seconds behind these guys now. He must have made a mistake somewhere. That's your race leader then, 3.2 back to Fuchsia, putting out a slight gap over the last lap. Serrano is looking like he could take his next victory in this championship and close the gap on Fuchsia. Still got 5 laps remaining though, so anything could happen. But I certainly think that Serrano has got the pace to stay ahead of Fuchsia and perhaps increase that gap as well, as we've got the yellow flag out there for somebody. It's Gutierrez who's been in the wall quite hard and done a lot of damage, because that is the front of the car off. Just have a look at the replay there. That's a very strange accident. Car just seemed to pull right as he got the power down there. Porto is a lap down behind him. Nieto is the nearest challenger to him, but Nieto is 40 seconds off the pace as Gutierrez makes yet more contact with the wall and heads into the pit lane to get that fixed. So Fuchsia still 3 seconds behind Serrano. Oh, Serrano flying towards Singapore, swing there as quick as he can. Looked like he was a bit sideways. Can Fuchsia break that 3-second margin and bring the gap down, or will it stay like that for the remaining 5 laps of the Singapore race? Just over 10 minutes remaining of the race if we go off lap times. Coming up to the 1 hour mark in a couple of minutes, actually. Fuchsia still not really able to bring that gap down. I've just noticed that Gutierrez is retired actually. Porto, I can't know, it's Aguilera who was on the timing screens coming up in red, not sure what that was for. He's still going, so perhaps the cause of the yellow flag we just saw. Fuchsia still hovering around that 3.5 second mark for the gap between him and Serrano. Serrano has just got 4 laps to go as, oh no, Aguilera spins it right in front of Nieto. That was actually for position, I think. No, it wasn't. Nieto's a lap behind on Aguilera then. Fuchsia is rapidly dropping back from Serrano as well, gap up to 4.2. So Checo, who was running second early on, is not able to get anywhere near Fuchsia, who's currently second now. Fuchsia is 4 seconds behind Serrano. That gap cannot come down much at all. In fact, I think Serrano's made a mistake somewhere because he's gained quite a bit on this last lap, over a second. Perhaps a few late mistakes creeping in for Serrano. Lap 29 of 31. Gap is just 3.5 seconds between the top 2 after 4 stops each. Checo has made 3 stops only, and I think Checo won't be making any more. Aguilera has only made 3, Nieto has only made 3, Porto has made 4, and he's the last car running in 6th position with Ross, Gutierrez and Herrero. Fusha dropping back from Serrano now as well. He was getting on for a second slower that last lap. Gap back up to 5 seconds. As we come into the end of the penultimate lap. It's been a fairly faultless performance by Serrano so far, making a bit of contact with Nieto, who spun on the apex of turn 3, I do believe. Serrano of course having to take a bit of avoiding action and some slight contact in the process. But apart from that, he hasn't put a foot wrong so far. Fusha hasn't had an answer for his pace either, and trails him by 5 seconds. Checker looked good early on for second, but he's dropped back 20 seconds behind the leader and 15 behind Fusha. He's currently third. And then we've got Aguilera, who is currently in no man's land, 86 seconds behind the nearest car and 107 seconds ahead of Nieto. So it looks like Aguilera will be taking 4th home, barring any major accidents from him. Serrano just going under the grandstand. Around the final 2 turns for Serrano then, as he starts the final lap of the race, lap 31. We are well over an hour gone into this race, quite a long one, 2 minute plus lap, and 31 of them. All Serrano needs to do is keep it pointing in the right direction, and he'll be picking up yet another victory and closing that gap on Fusha in the championship as we get into the final couple of races. Fusha still not able to make any sort of impression on Serrano so far. Gap is up to 5.5 seconds now. Serrano doing everything right. Fusha hasn't particularly put a foot wrong, he's just not had the pace, and I think Fusha is now just backing off on this last lap, making sure he picks up that second place that he is currently in. Over the bridge and through the hairpin for Serrano. Fusha is just in the background there, but nothing that Fusha will be able to do as Serrano finishes off this final lap. Only a couple more corners to go for Serrano. We're in the second sector of the lap now. Under the grandstand, the left and right of the chicane, and into the final sector of the lap for Serrano. Just a couple of corners to go for him. It is going to be a faultless performance for Serrano as he comes around the final corner. And down the start finish straight, Serrano takes the victory here in Singapore. 31 laps completed in 1 hour and 6 minutes. It will be Fusha coming home in second. Closes the gap towards the end of the race, but loses out in the championship. Third will go to Checker after what could have been second for him, but one less stop meant he lost a bit of time. Aguilera will be 4th home. Aguilera's got a big gap between him and anybody else on track at the minute, and he's still in the first sector of the lap actually. Nieto currently 5th. Porto is currently 6th, and he's just slid off track in, that's the Singapore Sling actually. And then Porto, of course, last car running, because Gutierrez and Herrero have both retired from the race after a disappointing performance for them, it has to be said. Serrano, your winner in the end. With a comfortable 5 seconds in the end. Fuchsia not able to get that gap much lower than 3 seconds across the race. As we wait for the results to appear. Here comes Nieto across the line, finishing in 5th. Then here's Porto. In fact, that was Aguilera actually. Here comes Porto. So Serrano takes the victory then by 5 seconds from Fuchsia. Checo was 3rd, 19 seconds off. Aguilera took home 4th, 1 minute 56 off of Serrano in the end. And then it was Nieto 1 lap down. Porto was the last car running in 6th, just 2 laps down. Then Gutierrez and Herrero, of course, retiring from the race at the midway stage for both of them. And that wraps it up here for Singapore. Probably the longest race on the calendar, it has to be said. So, thank you everybody for joining us. We shall be back in 2 weeks' time or so for the next race of the season as it slowly comes to a close. Fuchsia losing a bit of margin to Serrano, but will he be able to fight back at the next race? We shall have to wait and see.